Hi, my name is Dheeraj. Welcome to the DNA Experience. The time is now 7 p.m. This show is brought to you the kind compliments of Mr. Richard of Golden Crown, the Gungurus Dance Academy, and the NGP Dancers. And guys, before we go any further, I want to remind you, Jamie Plumman is having their fundraiser, which means they're collecting books, pencils, erasers, pens, everything else to be sent to Guyana. It's called School Supply Drive on Sunday, July 13th at 2 p.m. at Caribbean Fest. Guys, come out there and support for Awardicas. They have singers, they have dancers, they have MCs, they have DJs. I think they have the Damn Jackass. His name is Fest. Oh yeah, DJ Fest. I say I call him Damn Jackass. He's my nephew. I could say that. He's the first.
Fest, that came from Dheeraj, not from me. Good evening, everyone. Let me introduce myself. Give him a chance to stop calling people name. My name is Shamala Karim from WPAT Radio and FetNet Radio. And to my right is speaking on. Fest, it came from him. Let me just say that again. Welcome to this edition of the DNA Experience, where it is my pleasure, to continue my conversation. We did say it was going to be more than one part, so exactly. This is
part two.
Part two, the continuation of the last conversation.
I know what, the feedback should be okay because you guys love dances and you guys know the best person to watch is me. Am I boasting?
No,
yes, I am.
No. It would be boasting if it wasn't true.
If it wasn't true.
You're stating the facts.
I'm stating the fact.
Come on, do I have to prep you with everything? You're stating the facts. Okay.
Guys, I've won over 150 dancing competitions.
I've won 0.
And I have been around the world and back. I've danced for all the major events, Sunshine Awards, Time Magazine, Nyan Daz Award, and the list goes on and on. So I have a right to boast, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
So because if you were watching the last show, we talked about his favorite type of dancing, the Odyssey dance, the Katak dance, and of course, and then his proudest moment was winning the Naya and Daz Award for being the only West Indian person to have won that award. Exactly. And also for being featured in the Time magazine. As we continue here now, Dheeraj, what is, besides all of these awards and these accolades, what made you want to teach? Because I know you've taught so many young people to that. What is it that made you want to share your talent with these youngsters?
Over the years, when I started training with my gurus, and Vijay Maharaj said to me, he said, "You remind me of a younger me." And then he said, "Do you know who Gopi Krishna is?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, you look like Gopi Krishna, but you look like me also." Gopi Krishna was one of the choreographers of the Bollywood movies back in the 60s, 70s, and even early 80s. When I saw a photograph of him, I was like, wow, I do look kind of like him. But he was chunkier. At that time, I was a little more skinnier. So I did look like him. And once I took a photograph of Biju Maharaj, with just side by side, same pose, and I looked so much like him, a younger version of him. I was like, wow. So he said, you have what it takes to lead the next generation into the world of dance. So when...
Yeah, continue. I just had one of my silly thoughts.
Okay, so when I came over here, I said, let me start teaching. So I started teaching, and thousands of kids went through my hand teaching them professional dance. And if you watch the Gunguru Dance Academy dancers compared to a lot of dance groups out there, you can tell who the professionally trained ones are and who are not professionally trained.
What I was thinking as you were talking, maybe you should have taken the DNA. Maybe that's your long lost relative.
And you never know.
Right?
You never
Talking
know.
about the DNA experience. That would have been some DNA experience.
Exactly.
So as we continue here, I just want to remind you that Dheeraj Gairam, who is officially, again, retired from dancing, but has left so many wonderful memories. Let's take a look at one of his dances that I know you're going to absolutely love.
जे हम तुम चोरी से बंधे एक डोरी से जइयो कहाँ हजूर जे हम तुम चोरी से बंधे एक डोरी से जइयो कहाँ हजूर आर पार हम तुम जोड़ी से बंधे एक डोरी से जइयो कहाँ हे हजूर
हम तुम जोड़ी से बंधे एक डोरी से जइयो कहाँ हे हजूर
घूंघट में से मुखड़ा दिखे अभी अधूरा घूंघट में से मुखड़ा दिखे अभी अधूरा भैया में आजा मिलन तो हो पूरा
ये मिलना तो नहीं कुछ एक बार का हम तुम चोरी से बंधे एक डोरी से जइयो कहाँ है हजूर पड़ेगी बंधन है प्यार का हम तुम चोरी से बंधे एक डोरी से जइयो कहाँ है हजूर
All right, welcome back to the DNA Experience with Shamela Karim, and
My name is Dheeraj.
are you really?
I am.
And it is your show, right?
It is my show, yeah.
So it's not like I'm taking over. But speaking of taking over now, you really. We're talking about your experience as you have performed for so many years, entertained so many people on so many different stages. Who are some of the people, if you can, like, how long is the show? Who are some of the people that you have toured with? Because I know the list is an extensive list, but who stands out the most?
Well, like you said, I've done so many shows, but I have kept a diary with all the shows I've done. Over 6,000 compiled together since I started dancing. And from that 6,000 shows, I remember when I had just won a dancing competition at, I think it's John Adams High School. And I was approached by Rohit Jagasar because he was one of the judges. He came to me, he said, "Are you fresh off the boat?" Because I had just came from India actually, and I was skinny, and my costumes, everything was like really tacky, cheap. Because I like to be simple. I don't like to wear extravagant costumes because I think my dance has to stand out instead of my costumes. So he said to me, he said, "You're really good at can I speak to you tomorrow?" So next day I approached him and we had a conversation. He said, "I'm taking Babla Kanchan on a world tour and I want you to be there." I said, "Me?" He said, "Yes." So that was the first show I actually did, and that stood out because that was the first tour I actually did internationally.
So besides Babla and Kanchan,
Then-
I know you toured with like a lot of people from the Caribbean.
From the Caribbean, yeah, but I don't really call that like something I really want to talk about. I just want to talk about the people that matters. Like, I did a show with Asha Bosley at Nassau Coliseum. That stood out. Anand Sami, that stood out. I did shows with like so many Bollywood stars like Jatendra, Chunky Pandey, Rahul Roy, and the list goes on and on. That I did so many shows with them, traveling around the world. And I mean the local industry, like when I did the local shows, and I've said it in my forever career that one of the best bands I've ever worked with is a Gemini band. And not because she's here, even if she's not here, I've always said it, that Gemini band has produced some of the best music. I can remember whenever they come and say, "D, we have a function, we have an event," I don't even care to say, I don't even care, don't know what I have, I always say yes. Because I consider it a pride and a joy and a privilege to be part of a band that really knows music.
Okay, and I know you, like I said, you've toured with so many different people, but here is a look from way back when, from one of your performances from a few years back. Let's say a few years back.
A few years back, yeah.
Yes, we're not saying how long ago.
Richard from Golden Crown Jewelry. Come check us out. We're located at 12719 Liberty Avenue, Richmond Hill, New York. Our phone number is 718-845-7455. For all your jewelry needs, 14, 10, 12, 22 karat. Check us out. We're right here.
Our telephone number is 718-845-7455.
When it comes to servicing or repairing your vehicle, no one does it better than Metropolitan Auto Services. They are the expert in collision, repair and bodywork. They provide the following services: New York State inspection, complete auto repair services, engine diagnostics, tune-ups, brakes, electrical, front ends, transmissions and more. All insurances are welcome. Call Vinty today at 718-848-1064. That's 718-848-1064, or visit their location at 9004.
Since 1987, Laser Hair Removal of New York and Electrolysis by Selena has helped customers end their struggle with unwanted hair. Utilizing the world's most advanced lasers for the removal of unwanted hair, our trained specialists are able to tailor treatments to your individual skin and hair type for men and women. From LASIK to laser hair removal, port wine stain treatment, or even tattoo removal, our services are high quality. Call 718-835-0444. Visit laserhairremovalofny.com.
International Gungaroos Dance Academy. We teach Kathak, Odissi, folk, modern, and filmy dances. Call now to learn from renowned international dancer Dheeraj, with over 44 years of dance experience. The first and only West Indian dancer to appear in Time magazine, tour with Bollywood stars, win over 150 dance competitions, and perform in over 6,000 shows worldwide and counting. A dance academy that's making history. To learn from the best, call 718-850-7952. The International Gungaroos Dance Academy. Win over 150 dance competitions and perform in over 6,000 shows worldwide and counting. A dance academy that's making history. To learn from the best, call 718-850-7952. The International Gungaroos Dance Academy.
Since 1987, Laser Hair Removal of New York and Electrolysis by Selena has helped customers end their struggle with unwanted hair. Utilizing the world's most advanced lasers for the removal of unwanted hair, our trained specialists are able to tailor treatments to your individual skin and hair type for men and women. From LASIK to laser hair removal, port wine stain treatment, or even tattoo removal, our services are high quality. Call 718-835-0444. Visit laserhairremovalofny.com.
GMA Plumbing and Heating Corporation provides the following services to get your home, apartment, or business ready and customized to your needs. Call us today at 917-864-2670. We're conveniently located at 20719 Jamaica Avenue, Queens, New York. Offering commercial and residential, licensed and insured, DOB violation removal, oil to gas conversion, tankless water heaters, Navy and boilers and water heaters, new boiler installs and repairs, new hot water heater installs, backflow and RPZ installations, water meter installations, certified by all gas companies, reactivate gas shutdowns, new construction plumbing and heating, including gas stoves, kitchen sinks, jacuzzi, toilets, showers, etc. Local 152 law compliance for 3 stories plus, residential and commercial dwellings. All annual inspections, and we service all 5 boroughs of New York City. That's GMA Plumbing and Heating Corporation. Call us today at 917-864-2670.
Hi, I'm Richard from Golden Crown Jewelry. Come check us out. We're located at 12719 Liberty Avenue, Richmond Hill, New York. Our phone number is 718-845-7455. For all your jewelry needs, 14, 10, 12, 22 karat. Check us out. We're right here.
Our telephone number is 718-845-7455.
Alright, welcome back. You're watching the DNA Experience with Shamela Karim and
Dheeraj.
Alright, so Dheeraj, I know you were jokingly saying that you didn't want to talk about, the local performance, but that's where you have your fame within the local community more so than in the international
market.
Yes. And I know that there's a lot of people from within our own community that you've traveled with. So let's give a little, I know, again, time is against us, but let's just say just a few names. Like, who do you remember performing with on the same stage that really stands out for you?
Well, several years ago, I was on a show with Mother Rose. We call her Calypso Rose, the great Calypso Rose. I call her Mother Rose because she always called me a son. And we were in a show in Guyana, myself, her, Terry, the hitman, and all of us. And before I went on stage, she actually introduced me. And I was like, wow, the great Calypso Rose is introducing me on stage. And she said, welcome my son, and welcome the son of Guyana. And she stood up because just her introducing me on stage was like that, because I always consider her an icon in our community. Also, the late great Sundar Popal. I did several shows with him around the Caribbean islands, Caribbean countries, and Canada and New York. And I can remember one night when some guys were arrested in Florida for soliciting a prostitute, an undercover prostitute, and they got banned from the country. That show had to be cancelled, and we had to come back to New York the next day. And he was there with me. He said, "D, do not do what they're doing." So he stood out. And then when Anand Yankran made Nanda Baba, and he sent me that time was cassette. He sent me a cassette. He said, "Dheeraj, I'm coming to New York and I want you to perform this song, not with me, but by yourself on the show." I said, "You sure?" Nobody ever heard it. He said, "No." And I did Nanda Baba at Richmond Hill, and then all the pundits wrote me up next couple of days in the New York, in the papers, saying that I was vulgar, I was ridiculous. Mind you, those same pundits now having a drag queen taking off their clothes in the manders, and it's okay. I guess times do change.
It does, and I guess people change with time. Speaking of changing, let's change this conversation and let's look at a video.
ये हम नहीं जानते मगर भी नहीं सकते तुम्हारे बिना हमें तुमसे प्यार.
Hi, I'm Richard from Golden Crown Jewelry. Come check us out. We're located at 12719 Liberty Avenue, Richmond Hill, New York. Our phone number is 718-845-7455. For all your jewelry needs, 14, 10, 12, 22 karat. Check us out. We're right here.
Our telephone number is 718-845-7455.
When it comes to servicing or repairing your vehicle, no one does it better than Metropolitan Auto Services. They are the expert in collision, repair and bodywork. They provide the following services: New York State inspection, complete auto repair services, engine diagnostics, tune-ups, brakes, electrical, front ends, transmissions and more. All insurances are welcome. Call Vinty today at 718-848-1064. That's 718-848-1064, or visit their location at 9004.
Since 1987, Laser Hair Removal of New York and Electrolysis by Selena has helped customers end their struggle with unwanted hair. Utilizing the world's most advanced lasers for the removal of unwanted hair, our trained specialists are able to tailor treatments to your individual skin and hair type for men and women. From LASIK to laser hair removal, port wine stain treatment, or even tattoo removal, our services are high quality. Call 718-835-0444. Visit laserhairremovalofny.com.
International Gungaroos Dance Academy. We teach Kathak, Odissi, folk, modern, and filmy dances. Call now to learn from renowned international dancer Dheeraj, with over 44 years of dance experience. The first and only West Indian dancer to appear in Time magazine, tour with Bollywood stars, win over 150 dance competitions, and perform in over 6,000 shows worldwide and counting. A dance academy that's making history. To learn from the best, call 718-850-7952. The International Gungaroos Dance Academy. Win over 150 dance competitions and perform in over 6,000 shows worldwide and counting. A dance academy that's making history. To learn from the best, call 718-850-7952. The International Gungaroos Dance Academy.
Since 1987, Laser Hair Removal of New York and Electrolysis by Selena has helped customers end their struggle with unwanted hair. Utilizing the world's most advanced lasers for the removal of unwanted hair, our trained specialists are able to tailor treatments to your individual skin and hair type for men and women. From LASIK to laser hair removal, port wine stain treatment, or even tattoo removal, our services are high quality. Call 718-835-0444. Visit laserhairremovalofny.com.
GMA Plumbing and Heating Corporation provides the following services to get your home, apartment, or business ready and customized to your needs. Call us today at 917-864-2670. We're conveniently located at 20719 Jamaica Avenue, Queens, New York. Offering commercial and residential, licensed and insured, DOB violation removal, oil to gas conversion, tankless water heaters, Navian boilers and water heaters, new boiler installs and repairs, new hot water heater installs, backflow and RPZ installations, water meter installations, certified by all gas companies, reactivate gas shutdowns, new construction plumbing and heating, including gas stoves, kitchen sinks, jacuzzi, toilets, showers, etc. Local 152 law compliance for 3 stories plus, residential and commercial dwellings. All annual inspections, and we service all 5 boroughs of New York City. That's GMA Plumbing and Heating Corporation. Call us today at 917-864-2670.
Hi, I'm Richard from Golden Crown Jewelry. Come check us out. We're located at 12719 Liberty Avenue, Richmond Hill, New York. Our phone number is 718-845-7455. For all your jewelry needs, 14, 10, 12, 22 karat. Check us out. We're right here.
Our telephone number is 718-845-7455.
Alright, welcome back. I'm having way too much fun looking at you dancing, looking at all these videos, and having a conversation with you at the same time. So I just want to say this again, you're watching the DNA Experience with Shamela Karim and Dheeraj, reminding you for the back to school drive. And Dheeraj, I think you've got more information on that.
Exactly. Sunday, July 13th at Caribbean Fest at 2 p.m. It's a GMA plumbing presentation. Guys, we call it the back to school drive. You ask them to bring books, pencils, erasers, pen, backpacks, whatever you need for go back to school with, because all of this will be sent to Guyana to help the underprivileged. And I want to say a big shout out to GMA Plumbing. You guys are doing an amazing job, and hope to you guys, everybody come out there, because there will be singers, dancers, and other activities for the younger kids. So come out there and have fun.
All right, and also Festus boat ride is coming up.
God, do we have to talk about him?
Yes, we do, because he might push me off the boat, and I can't swim.
He's gonna be 60 years old. I'm sorry, is it 50 or 60? I'm not sure. He's my nephew, but I could say what I want about him, right? So he's having his boat ride, his birthday party aboard the Paddle Queen on June 28th, and guys, the boat leave at 7, and it's at World Fair Marina. Parking is there, so come out. But you know what the bad thing about it is, when you go there, getting there, traffic is heavy, so leave home early so you can get there on time to go aboard the boat, the Paddle Queen, for Fest's birthday party. I'm going to be there. We're going to be there. We're going to have an amazing time. And if you can't find me, Fest, throw me overboard.
And let me just remind you guys, don't show up at 7:05. This is not Guyanese time.
The boat will leave you.
The boat will leave you on the dock. You can wait for them to come back to welcome them back off the boat.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, you have to be there on time. You have to be on board, because once they take the ropes, whatever that's called. I'm not a boat.
They're not coming back.
They're not coming back for you. You can
Once
stand
they
there and
pull that thing,
wave.
they're gone.
You can stand there and wave all you want, unless you're swimming to get on the boat, which I don't think.
But do you know what the funny part is? Some people do show up late and they get mad at the boat people. No, 7 is 7, because we are paying from 7 to a certain time. You don't come there on time, the boat leave you, that's on you.
Absolutely. We need to start telling time and being punctual. And that maybe we'll do another show on being,
On time.
On time and manners and everything.
Manners. Oh God, a lot of people need Okay.
Well, right now, what we're talking about is Dheeraj's dance career. So, Dheeraj, is there something that you want to share with your audience that perhaps they have never heard before?
There's a lot of stuff that you see, like Shamla and I was talking about earlier, and we were telling our producer and director, Mr. Rocky, that we may be public figures, but our lives are private. My life is very private. Whatever you know or whatever you think you know, don't think you know me, because my life is very private. I have 2 daughters and I'm very close to them. And for those of you who don't know me, I love to sing, but I can't sing. And that's something I do on the side. And because of Shamla, I made a song which we released. And thank you to Gemini Band, it made me song. Well, I think I sung amazing, because I've listened to all these local singers. And guys, if some of you could sing, I can sing too.
Yes. And you know what? I've been trying to convince Steve that I should sing too. You and I can do a duet. If he can make you sound good, he can make me sound good. Exactly. I'm just saying. Steve, if you're listening and you're watching,
let's do a duet.
I said it on the radio. I'm saying it on TV now.
But no, I'm a chef. I'm a chef by profession now, because about a couple of years ago I realized my dancing career is going to come to because I've been having enough of it. People are calling me to ask me to wear a sari, wear a lenga, wear a wig, pull a husband, pull a wife, pull a boy, pull this one to dance. I don't do that. As a performer, you hire me to perform, not to pull nobody and dance or take a photograph in the middle of my performance or to wear a striptease costume. I did striptease back in the days when I was skinny. Now I'm too old for that. So, and striptease in a proper way, in a very decent way. But when you wear 2-3 costumes and taking off one and then pulling an auntie and pulling an uncle, that's not my style. So that's one of the reasons why I started to you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. So one lady had called me and said, can you wear a red sari and dance at my husband's birthday party? And I said, is he going to wear a red sari too, because we could do a duet?
You know what this reminds me of? There's a song that goes, catch a boy, catch a girl, you bring it from the marrow. Not that I just proved to you guys I can sing, or not. You're not doing that, right?
Exactly. So I decided that, you know what, as my career, I need to stop dance at a certain time. And like Shamla said before, I've had several favorite performances, but because of the bookings I'm getting, bookings are coming, I decided to wait. So last year in November, when I decided to call it quits, a lot of people were aggravated, were pissed off at me, because they wanted to hire me, and people are still trying to call to hire me. But I'm saying no, because I think 50 years in the industry is quite a lot. I mean, I need time for me. Like, my mom passed about 2 years ago. This is going to be her 3rd year. And I can remember for several Mother's Day, I could not even spend time with her, because Mother's Day used to be such a big thing in New York. I remember one time I did 13 Mother's Day show in one day. And the last one I was so tired. So I wanted time for me. I have 2 daughters. I need to enjoy my time with them and enjoy my life. I'm 60 years old now. What am I going to do to enjoy it?
You know, I'm nodding here because he said it. Because you were the dancer performer, I was the MC, and I've been away from my mom and even from my kids. They never got to spend Mother's Day with me on that Sunday.
Exactly.
I would always have to compromise and celebrate on a different day. So you're right. People don't realize the sacrifices that we make to bring entertainment to you. But
I can remember, I think when Fez got married, he had to give me a year in advance. I think I'm getting married. I said, give me a permanent date because I need to put this date aside. And people were mad because I had to cancel a lot of gigs for Fez's wedding. Even my daughter Nisha got married. She had to say, Father, I'm getting married here. You cannot do nothing for 2 weeks. I said, 2 weeks because you're going to be doing everything.
Right.
So but I had to block everything in advance. And then for those who I had taken money from, I call them back and I make an excuse. Oh, I have COVID, I have this, I have that. Because at that time, you could have said you had COVID, whatever. So people don't understand the amount of sacrifices we make as artists to go out there and do what we're doing. Once I had 104 degrees and I called one lady and said, listen, I'm so sick I could hardly come out of bed. She said, I don't care, come and dance still.
And this is one of the reasons why people were always demanding Dheeraj dance for them. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Dheeraj. Once again, this is the DNA Experience, and the beautiful Shamla Karim from WPAT is here. And guys, you know, I couldn't ask for a better person to be with me right now talking about my career than the beautiful Shamla Karim. And I've always told people on WPAT, she's the only person I listen to. Are the others qualified to be in the radio? I'm not sure. And I can talk because you can curse me, I don't care. You can pelt me, I don't duck.
I hope they're not throwing eggs at their own TV.
At their own TV. Because none of you are qualified to be in the radio and you call yourself host. You know, this is not me saying it, but a lot of people on the internet radios think they're hosts. Oh, did you really? I think I'm a host, I'm not a host. This is what you call a host.
What I love is that people who are live streaming on the internet, they call themselves radio hosts. You're not on a radio station.
You're on the internet.
You're not a radio host.
Just call yourself on the internet. And they all think they're celebrities. I call you celeries.
Anyway, on that note, thanks for watching. Maybe I'll take the celery, go get some carrots, and make a pot of soup.